Howdy folks, it's your boy Half a Tanks back with another tank review for you guys. And today we find ourselves in the T41E1. This is the tank that you get from the Ultimate Season Pass, and I will go over the whole tank review. You guys can see how it works, how it operates, my likes, my dislikes of it, and then that'll give you guys a better idea on what if you want to pick this tank up. It's not just as easy as like, oh, okay, go buy the Ultimate Pass. I mean, the only reason you'd buy the Ultimate Pass is for this tank. So, let's start off with just a overview of what this tank used to be. So back in the day, this tank used to be the Bulldog, and the Bulldog used to have two guns. It used to have a single fire gun, and it used to have a 10-shot autoloader, which this thing does have. Now this is way back in the day, I think like 5 years ago, that they took this gun off because of reasons I don't even know. But this is also when light tanks could be matched up with tier 10 tanks. So this was like a tier 7 or a tier 6 tank, I forget, that was matched up in tier 10s. So different times, different meta. I used to love the Bulldog with the 10 shot. It was just the epitome of fun. It was so much fun. I 3-marked that tank, and after they took the 10 shot autoloader, the single fire gun on it was just boring, and I ended up selling the tank. But now I am so happy that they brought this tank back, even without even knowing if this tank was good or not. I've straight bought this tank just for the nostalgia purposes of how much fun I used to have in this tank. Well, not this tank, because this tank is buffed compared to the old Bulldog. Higher alpha damage. I'm not sure about the reload, but it does have a higher alpha damage, and it still has the beautiful 10-shot autoloader. It has about a 2-second interclip reload time, so it does take quite a long time for you to dump your entire clip. It does take about 18 seconds. So if you are dumping this clip, you don't want to be dumping it if you're spotted, because you're just going to be a sitting target. Now, I'm not saying that you can't circle a tank and dump your entire clip into them, but honestly, you're going to probably take some hits, because although it has a good top speed, most tanks nowadays will be able to completely keep up with your turret rotation unless they're a non-turreted tank destroyer. In that case, you're going to have a farm fest on them. What this thing is really, really good at is, as I'm incredibly trash right here, I'm still getting used to this tank, and I want to blame it on the lag. Yeah, on why I suck so much right there. But this thing is really good at hitting shots on the move, as you can see in the background right here. It has a .23 accuracy with the setup that I have, which I will show the setup of this tank at the end of the video, and you'll see exactly what I'm running, what crew perks, what equipment. And so this thing can hit targets on the move pretty dang reliably. Now, if it will pen them is a different issue, because this thing's pen is not the best. It does struggle to get through some heavily armored tier 8s, and it definitely struggles to get through some of the more armored tanks at tier 10, even some medium tanks if you're not aiming for weak spots. So you will need some heat clips on this. I would not recommend taking any HE on this thing. It's just a waste of time for you to reload, do a 20-something second reload for some HE shells that you may or may not use all of them. So I would just say skip the HE. Don't need it. If you see something that's lightly armored, just use your regular gun. I'm not saying there's not a place for HE in this tank, but in my opinion, I wouldn't even bother with it. Now, another thing that this tank does quite well, not the best, but quite well, is spotting. As you can see, I'm up here in the front spotting for my teammates behind me. Now, with my setup, this thing has a stupid view range of 525 meters view range, and a still concealment of 272. Now, this isn't the best concealment for a light tank. It's an American light tank, which means that it's a big boy, alright? But you make up for that with your incredibly good view range. So even though you're not able to get as close to people without getting spotted, you can still keep your distance between them with that big view range. So it does spotting quite well, as you'll be able to see in this replay. I tried to grab a replay that showed both the gun working really well and the view range working really well. And so far, I mean, I had some good games after this one's already been recorded, but I needed to get this video out. So I'll probably show another video later of me just doing raw damage with this thing. And it can put out a lot of raw damage pretty dang easily. You just can't really play it as a frontliner. You sort of have to play it as like a mid-range support. or a sniper. Again, though, this is a very good all-arounder tank. If you want to spot with it, you can. If you want to just dish out damage with it, you can. So we've talked about the gun on this thing and how I do enjoy this gun. It has good accuracy at .23. It has a good rate of fire at 14.42. Has a good reload at 23 seconds. I wouldn't say it's good, but it's definitely not horrible. If you get every single shot in your clip out in this thing, you have around 1700 alpha. That's enough to kill your tank if you ever run into it, and that's enough to one clip out a lot of tanks at tier 8, and to really make some tier 10s double think that they're life decisions. But again, it's hard to get that entire clip out on a tank because of that long inner clip. 18 seconds to dump an entire clip, it's difficult. So you usually just find yourself keeping half a clip and just firing whenever you can, and then finally going for a reload when you empty the clip. One thing I don't like, which is the tank, not the tank's fault whatsoever, but on the left side of my aiming reticle, you see a bar. That's your ammo count, but it doesn't tell you the exact number of rounds in the tank. It just says a bar, and as you use a shot, then the bar goes down, which I think is stupid. I don't know why they took all the little teeny bullets off of the side of the tank. Hopefully Wargaming fixed that, but like I said, no fault of the tank. It doesn't affect how the tank plays. Another thing I like, the mobility. You can get up to 70 kilometers an hour pretty reliably, and this thing doesn't turn like a French tank, so it has some decent right and left maneuverability. It does not turn like a boat. But like I said, you're a big boy, so you're pretty easy to hit at range, either way, if the person has a brain. Alright. You got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is also very good. Now, the only things I really don't like about this tank is, I would say, its penetration. Your penetration is lacking at 175 with your regular standard, and 210 at heat. 210 at heat is okay. I mean, you're still going to struggle at getting through tier 10s, but you're going to be better off at tier 8s and tier 9s. But the pen has failed me. Like right here, trying to shoot this angled E75. It's tough. It's a tough pen. I can't even blow the tracks off of this guy. So you're going to really want to play this tank as a flanker. Get up on the sides or the rears of people so that you have no problem penning them. Now, those are pretty much those are my only gripes about the tank, okay, is the pen and how long it takes for you to get your entire clip off. Now, my last little teeny thing is how long it takes for you to kill an arty in this thing. Now, what I'm about to do with this arty is I get a little bit lucky. It's because he's not going to be looking at me, but look at how many shots it takes, minus the one that's going to get absorbed by his track, of course. But it takes 4 shells to kill an arty at full health. And if this arty was facing me and I would having to sit in front of him or do some weird maneuvers, it would definitely be difficult to kill arty if they are ready for you. Now, that's not an everyday thing. Like, it's a very small situation where that'll be an issue, but just know that it's not going to be as simple as 2 shots to that arty and you're done. All right, this is the tank review, you guys. It is overall, in my opinion, a very well balanced tank. It's not overpowered by any stretch of the imagination. You can have some really good games in it. 2400 raw, and then I did another 4000 assistance, I think. So it's a really solid tank, ace tanker, and I've been having games like this pretty reliably in this tank. And you can really decide on whether you want to use mainly the gun or if you want to do a lot of spotting damage. You can choose that in the battle. Would I recommend you buying the Ultimate Season Pass? That is completely up to you. I got all of my gold from my last Season Pass and more. So it paid for the entire Ultimate Season Pass from the last Season Pass. But I've given you guys the tools that you need to make your own logical decision, so I hope you use them. I hope that this was an entertaining video, educational video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, do me a favor and ammo rack the like and subscribe button. Go drop a comment. How do you like this tank if you have it? If you don't have it, what are you thinking? Are you thinking of buying it or not? And we'll talk. Let me know. I will see you guys in the next one. Adios, amigos.